Right, as if it's all working. Let's just pretend it's all working perfectly, Sunita. How about that?
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let's do it.
I think we should do that. Now, I'm just going into my page to see whether I can get us up on my screen. It takes a few
Oh,
minutes for
that's a
people to
good
join
idea.
in anyway. Yeah, let's go there. So can you see it? Sunita can see it, and now I can see it. And what I want to be able to see is everyone's comments. That's what I want to see. Here we go. So for anybody who is out there watching and wondering why they're fluffing around and struggling with the technology, it's because we're doing something different today. Rather than just doing a Facebook live stream straight onto Facebook, we're doing it through Zoom. So this is actually coming to you via Zoom. And we've never done this before. It's very exciting. And why are we doing it via Zoom? Well, the reason we're doing that is because it is Sunita and I talking together. So it's kind of like a little interview. What I'm going to do, Sunita, is there we go. Let's have the view so we can see both of us there. I wonder if
that will be nice.
Facebook. Yeah, up on as I'm looking at it on Zoom, I can see you and I at the same time, but it doesn't look as if that's what people are able to see on Facebook. So, oh no, hold on, it is. It's working. They can now see you and I on Facebook. You know, next time we do this, it'll be really great.
Yes. Otherwise, it will be story like my Instagram live.
Yes. Now, Sunita, just before we went live, I asked her, have you done a Facebook Live before? And she said, no, but I did an Instagram Live. Tell us what happened with your Instagram Live, Sunita.
I was at Ayurveda retreat with Nikola in my tray and oil in my head, and it was after my treatment, and I didn't even realize I'm on Instagram Live. It was hilarious. My daughter sends me a message, Mom, do you know you're live? And I'm like, oh my God. So it was by mistake. So that's how I came on live. And I think hundreds of people saw that. But that's okay. I think that's natural me. So,
That's too bad. Hold on. So let me get this straight.
Much better. Yeah.
Let me get this straight. You didn't realize you were streaming live.
No, I thought I'm recording something and I thought I will edit it and put the nice part and then there I am.
And hold on, so you're in India and you're having panchakarma, so you're covered in like coconut oil and sesame oil, and you're just like grotty, and there's your daughter's in Australia.
Australia, and she must have got the notification that she's like, why Mom is live and why Mom is like that. So anyway,
that is too funny.
It was funny. Well, I laughed later, but that time I'm like, oh my God, how do I switch it off? Because I didn't know how to switch it off.
You had a bit of a
panic. I just dropped the phone and like, oh my God, I hope that it's turned off. So that was the fun part.
Oh my goodness. Well, look, hopefully it's good. You're looking lovely today. You're not looking all oily and panchakarma. You're looking very no oil today, just natural. Yes. And so what we're doing here today is we're going to talk about Ayurveda, because Sunita is actually one of Australia's best kept secrets. She is an Ayurveda expert. You are. She's an Ayurveda expert. And I don't use the word expert lightly. So I've noticed that on social media, anybody who's done a weekend course and has picked it up quickly enough shows up on Monday as an expert in whatever it is. And I'm pretty old school, and I know you're fairly old school as well, Sunita, that for us, experts are people who have spent years, maybe decades studying, but not just studying, but studying from teachers who themselves have been studying for years and decades, going back to great masters in their lineage or in their field. So I just wanted to, and I think, Sunita, you count as an expert when it comes to Ayurveda. So can you tell us a little bit about, like, how come you're an expert, your background?
I still don't think I'm expert, but I know a little bit, I should say. So I truly believe that yoga is my dharma, and I decided to share wisdom of yoga. In fact, it took me some time to realize that, but that became my kind of like a learning where I realized that this is what I'm meant to do. And then Ayurveda kind of like chose me. So I started initially doing small courses, and then I'm like, there is more to this. And then also it was constantly there because I am born in India, and I heard from my mom, my grandmother, that this is heating food, this is cooling food, this is what we don't eat in winter or summer. I'm like, why is that? So the curiosity kept, pushing. So I did more courses, nature care, and I did lot of online stuff, and I decided to go to Dr. Vasant Lad, who is based in half of the year he's based in US, and half of the year he's in India, and he's a living legend of Ayurveda. In fact, I he's a gifted teacher, and he also is from Maharashtra, so we kind of like speak same language in a sense that the customs, the rituals are similar. And so it was, I felt at home learning from him. And I believe, is my Ayurveda guru in a way. And that's where my teaching or learning comes from. And that's what I share. And when I came to you, a long time ago, you said, now you're teaching this, you're teaching that. And I was like, oh my God, Nick, thank you so much. So thank you for giving me opportunity to, be part of your lovely course. I think all your courses are really fantastic. So yeah, that's my journey.
Thank you. And if our courses in Adore Yoga are fantastic, it's largely because of the skill and talent of the teachers who we have. And I was so enormously glad when you agreed to come and do some teaching at Adore Yoga, because I have Adore Yoga. Because I've known Sunita for probably 15 years now.
Yeah.
And
so, yeah.
The irony was that when we first met, I was teaching her something. I was her yoga teacher. And it just felt ridiculous because she clearly knew a lot more than I did, even way back then. That was a very humbling experience.
I think you were pregnant with Ruby at that time or something.
I was.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, first one. Yeah.
Yeah, she turned 16 next month, so that was that was a little while ago.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So look, I wanted to ask you some questions about Ayurveda that are pertinent to yoga teachers, because more and more yoga teachers want to use Ayurveda in their practice, in their teaching. And most yoga teachers do run through Ayurveda as part of their 200-hour training. But I wondered what you think the benefits of an Ayurveda education, of really understanding some of those nuts and bolts of Ayurveda. What are the benefits for yoga teachers? What is it about Ayurveda and that knowledge that is beneficial to them and allows them to do their job and support their students better?
Well, in yoga and Ayurveda, which comes from Sankhya philosophy, as you know, which in that philosophy, the human being is a unique fingerprint of divine. So the box, we can't put people into boxes like there is no formula for teaching yoga in a way, because if you have like designed a class in your mind and people come in that class maybe with a knee injury, so everything goes out of the window. Or you have a designer class, say for summertime, and it's a very uplifting class, but if you are doing it in summertime, it is going to do adverse effect for your client. It will be too much heating. Also the pitta, vata, pitta, kapha, there are 3 types of kind of like body types, we can say, that helps us to understand these constitution, how they are affected by different practices, how we can help them. So we can actually really go quite deep to help our clients, and yoga practice can be very healing. We can design the practice according to client rather than what we think right in our head. So it's really, if you really want to share the love of yoga, Ayurveda, it goes hand in hand. In fact, it's called sister sciences for the reason because they are so, they basically support each other. And if, in my understanding, the more you have yoga, Ayurveda's understanding, the I became much comfortable in my teaching and I started understanding what will work with this person more rather than having a formula and then teaching from, because there is no formula really. Everyone, as we said, that unique fingerprints, so small classes and, teaching from that point of view, it really helps if you have Ayurvedic understanding.
Right.
Does it make sense?
Okay. It does. So what I'm hearing is that when you have a grasp of Ayurveda, you are able as a yoga teacher to better personalize what you're teaching so that the student gets more benefits and personalize it to them as an individual and according to the day and time and season as well. And that makes it more effective, and it also makes it safer.
Yes, it's definitely much safer because if you do overheating practice for the person who has a hot constitution, it is going to burn them up. Same with the pranayama practices. And so they need cooling practices. And the person who has a cooling constitution, if you give them cooling practice. So it is really interesting how we can modify the practices and the asanas according to the needs, according to clients' needs, the seasons, and also time of the day. Like these things are not considered. And traditionally, yoga, all the yogis were amazing Ayurvedacharya as well. Like they had this understanding of Ayurveda. They made effort to understand. And so that's what I think every yoga teacher, if they have this backing of Ayurveda, it makes, as a yoga teacher, it makes us help our client more, much better in a sense.
Right, so it makes you more useful and it makes you a better teacher.
Yes, yeah. It's like you help them. So the healing effect of yoga starts there. So this is where you can individualize practices for your client's needs.
So I like that you said that the healing starts there. So are we getting into the difference between maybe a standard yoga? So if I went to a yoga class at my local gym and the teacher has devised a practice for the class there, and if I went to a teacher to support myself to heal, whether I had a back pain or I wasn't sleeping well or whatever my ailment was, it sounds like you're saying that Ayurveda is a place to start in determining how to make the yoga that you teach healing and beneficial, rather than teaching something that's just for exercise and general health benefits. Am I understanding that right?
That's correct. That's exactly what I'm saying, yes. Because Ayurveda's understanding of disease is phenomenal, and it helps us to understand the stages of disease our client is, and it helps us to then prescribe, or I would say suggest yogic practices. So I do not suggest the herbs and things like that. I prefer to, I still rely on my yoga practices. So you can offer pranayama practices, asana, relaxation practices to your client from a different angle. Like you understand the disease better. You understand why this is happening for your client at this moment and how can we help. So you can go quite, your classes becomes almost healing for the clients, and you will hear it from them that I don't know what you did today, but I'm feeling much better, much lighter, or the comments like that. And it could be just the sequencing of asana, or it could be just like adding pranayam and maybe relaxation. So it is the same asana and pranayam and practices you learn, but how you arrange them and how you offer them and what time, it's all that. It can be deeply based into Ayurvedic practices.
So learning Ayurveda for yoga teachers, it's not about them being able to prescribe Ayurvedic medications or herbs or those kind of practices. But what the Ayurveda provides the yoga teacher with is a framework for developing a practice.
Yes.
So rather than just delivering a random practice where you go, okay, what am I going to teach today? Maybe I'll ask Google. Maybe I'll look at some magazines or some online, some YouTube yogis to give me some inspo for what I'm going to teach. When you have an Ayurveda knowledge base, it makes it much easier to decide what to teach and how to sequence it, because you start by looking at your student or your students and saying, okay, so from an Ayurvedic perspective, this is going to be the appropriate practice and the appropriate way to teach. So I can see how that works really well with individuals. So obviously we work together on the Adore Yoga Therapy teacher trainings, and Ayurveda is a super important component of that. And a lot of what we teach in the yoga therapy training is individualized. So working one-on-one, a student comes to you and says, well, I've come for yoga to help with my anxiety or whatever their health issue is. Is Ayurveda of any use to teachers who are teaching group classes? So say they are teaching classes of 20, 30 people at a studio or a community center or a gym. Can Ayurveda inform how they teach in those contexts?
Ayurveda helps there also. You can do the Tridoshik, that means all three dosha pacifying classes. So yes, this understanding of Ayurveda is phenomenal. Like you can, the main aim of yoga or Ayurveda is ahimsa, non-harming. So you with the practices you will offer, the intention is not harming your clients. So in these, when you understand that the Tridoshic practices which will balance all three doshas, so there are practices which will work on those lines. When you can offer that, it can be very balancing for all three doshas. So it works for all three doshas. Nick, have I lost you there? Looks like I have lost Nikola. So I'm just going to continue with the what is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is a healing science of India, and this healing science usually considered in Western world just related to food, but Ayurveda is much bigger than that. It is the wisdom is amazing. There are a lot of herbs and a lot of understanding of disease is also involved in that. But what we do at Adore Yoga Therapy is we are offering Ayurveda as a component to support yoga teachers. And what we're learning through here is that how you can take that understanding of Ayurveda and help your clients to go deeper into their understanding of how to offer um, yoga therapy. So yoga and Ayurveda can go hand in hand. So it is amazing how these two sciences go really beautifully together. Ayurveda and yoga has for ancient since ancient time has been used for by yogis to do it together. So when it goes hand in hand, hey Nick, you're back. I was just continuing about Ayurveda and yoga going hand in hand and how it works. So I'm glad that you're back.
Thank you. Technology, eh? I have to say, my internet very rarely goes down. We've got pretty good NBN here, but that time it just all fell apart, but not for very long. Anyway, thank you for holding the fort, Sunita. You're a legend.
No worries. No worries.
All right. So, and yes, yeah, fantastic. So I had some other questions. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Sanskrit, because we're going off the track a little bit, because Ayurveda and Sanskrit are not at all the same thing. But I introduced you as an expert, and as well as being an Ayurveda expert, you are a Sanskrit expert. There are plenty of people who teach Sanskrit who know enough words and they've learned a few phrases and stuff, but you actually speak Sanskrit like it was a living language. Am I right?
Well, let me explain a little bit. So Ayurveda and Sanskrit and yoga are very related. In fact, Ayurveda still is taught in Sanskrit in India, because the reason for that is otherwise it will get lost into translation. So Ayurveda is still in Sanskrit. And you will and yoga obviously is, so all the wisdom traditions of India comes from Sanskrit language, and Sanskrit is a language which sometimes considered a dead language, but that is not true. Sanskrit is used in the spiritual practices. When I say spiritual in Western world, it means religious. No, it's a separate thing. Two separate things. I'm talking about the mantra side of it. The mantras are very powerful. Sanskrit is a language of vibration. It is perfectly created language, and it is never brought down to the level of communication. So it is very sacred language, and it is used for specific reasons. So the mantras we utter in Sanskrit are used in the daily rituals of the practices like puja, fire ceremony, meditation. Some mantras are so powerful. They're higher level mantras where they change the vibration of the being so that it has almost healing energy in it. So mantras, I can go on and on forever for that, but Sanskrit mantras are very, very fantastic, and they really work. And because we human being, or everything around is made out of vibration, and sound is vibration. So when we utter the sound certain way, it changes our vibration. So when we are, say, going through anxiety or depression, our vibrations are different, lower, maybe feel down physically, we're like that. To change that, if we can use the sound vibration to change our energy system. So that's what Sanskrit mantra is. And these are vast sciences like yoga, Ayurveda, and Sanskrit are legend in itself, and learning and talking about them 2 minutes, it's very difficult for me, but it's That's what mantras and that's what Sanskrit is. And that's what I teach when I touch those subjects.
You're doing very well. I know it is. It's such a huge thing. So I get that it's to do with vibration, and sound is vibration. But surely, if we're speaking in English or Italian or Arabic or any other language, it's still sound vibration. So why can't I just do my mantras in English? Why would I do it in Sanskrit?
That's a beautiful question. And the answer to that is Sanskrit comes from ancient masters' wisdom tradition. When the sages, it was a golden period of humanity. And these beings sat down for meditation for hours and hours, and they heard sound of universe. And these sounds of universe are then they realize if we placed in certain way, they actually can take us to a different level of vibration. And what is and it's such a powerful language. The language, just the uttering mantras, we can reach to the state of enlightenment. Even though maybe that is not our goal this lifetime and you don't care about enlightenment, that's fine. But what is enlightenment in a way is optimal, almost optimal health. We're talking about vibrating on towards. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for peace of mind, if you're looking for stillness, calmness in your life, what happens is mind, our thoughts are also vibrations. So this constant chattering, can we use these mantras to bring ourselves into the state of calm and stillness? Can we use it as a almost like relaxation practices? And yes, these practices can give us that. So mantra can be very powerful tool, and you don't, and that's why the sound matters. The mantra in Sanskrit, mantra, actually the sound came first, the meaning came later. And that's why it's really the sound that matters. And that's why you will see that Sanskrit teachers are very strict on pronunciation. We learned our pronunciation first 5 years of my education. I remember just chanting the alphabets, because the Sanskrit alphabets are bija mantra. Those are the single word sound mantras. So it's fascinating, the whole language. It takes us, just those sounds can change the vibration. And what I'm talking about vibration here is I'm talking about it changes our mood. It takes us to up. It feels uplifted, healing, and all that. So that's what Sanskrit does. I will shut up now because I can go on and on and on.
And please do, because it's fascinating, right? I mean, you're saying that rather than just reciting your ABCs, and in English, A and B and C, those letters, those sounds don't have any real meaning. They're just random sounds. But in Sanskrit, when you do your ABCs in Sanskrit, each of the letters are in themselves a mantra that are filled with a deep, not even meaning, more essence, a deep, profound essence that has an immediate effect. And that's whether or not you know what the mantra means. Is that the case? You don't even have to know
in fact,
what the word means to get the benefit of that practice.
In fact, so we don't want our rational mind to kick in through the meaning of the mantra, because then we are reducing the vibration of mantra in a way. So you never told them, like, you can understand the mantra if you know the Sanskrit, but that's not the important part. The important part is the sound. And a lot of time people think that it is very foreign. The sounds like far away land. I don't understand. Oh my God, Sanskrit names are so long. But the reason for that is it was orally transmitted language. To memorize it, that's why the words are connected together like a thread, a sutra. And that's why when we remember, we can pull out these sutras. So when you utter, and that's why they are beautifully connected together. This is the only language which works with our both hemispheres of the brain at once. This is the only language which will really heighten your brain's capacity to grasp wisdom. So this is a beautiful language to learn, to play with, and also in Sanskrit, the sound and the meaning are the same. So when we say Sanskrit word, say deva, or the meaning that means deva means enlightened being, or light, light being made out of light. It is what it is. That sound and vibration are the same. So this is the language which is completely based into vibration. In yoga, we have Patanjali in yoga wisdom. Similarly, we have Ashtadhyayi grammar, which is amazing. And it is such a deep wisdom. And this language has been there for more than 5,000 years old. I think it's more old than that. And it's a beautiful vibrational language. So I think all yoga teachers should learn it. That's my wish. So hopefully one day.
I love what you were saying about the sound, the word is the meaning. So when most yoga teachers will be familiar with Shanti, for example, and of course that means peace. So that would explain why if we repeat that mantra, we just continue to repeat the sound, the word sound of Shanti, then the experience of that peacefulness will inevitably come as a result of that chanting. Is that the idea?
Yeah, because when, say, the word Shanti, if you go a little bit deeper into it, if you are helping your maybe baby or child to fall asleep, you'll say shh, 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 Shanti. So you're making the same vibration. So the Shanti, that's what we are using. Sorry, I don't know what's that. That's the live.
That's really live action.
I know. So yeah, that's what, like, meaning and vibe sound is the same, and that's why it cannot be translated. That's the reality, and so learning this language, and a lot of time people say that, oh, it's too foreign, but let me explain. Sanskrita means perfectly created. If we go if we start bringing it, coming down to the understanding, is sam in English means perfect, and sans sound similar, created or krita sounds similar. So if we drop all the barriers of the spelling and how it looks and focus on sound, this language is Indo-European language. So, you know, if we can bring it closer, we can make it familiar with us. So, yeah. Again, I can go on forever, but I know we have limited time.
Look, it's so important, and a lot of yoga teachers do get themselves tied up in knots around the Sanskrit. Whenever we teach new yoga teachers, that there is always an anxiety around the Sanskrit words and getting your mouth around them. And a lot of people don't use the Sanskrit anymore. And I think I understand why you wouldn't use the Sanskrit terms in many classroom environments, because we want our classes to be inclusive. And if you're talking Sanskrit at your students, that's maybe not the best way to make them feel relaxed and included and welcome. But as a teacher, it's important to know and be able to use and understand Sanskrit. And that's why we have, Sunita, you share your Sanskrit wisdom as well as your Ayurveda wisdom on Adore Yoga's yoga therapy training, but also in our meditation teacher training, because these are essential skills for meditation and for yoga teachers, right?
Yes, that's correct. So yoga is a meditation. So heart of yoga is meditation. Heart of meditation is Sanskrit mantra. Heart of Sanskrit mantra is the sound vibrations, and the whole universe is made out of these vibrations. So that's why if we understand, and the mantras can be completely stand alone from the religion. So what we offer in Adore Yoga, these yoga therapy training as well as meditation training is almost, it's not, it can be completely removed from that religion part of it, and you can still incorporate into your clients, so it will not spook them. We also, when I teach corporate meditation and yoga classes, I don't use Sanskrit word. I totally understand that it is not for everyone, but if your client is open, these are very healing practices, and you can still, you can help them to go quite, bring peace really close to them and help them to relax. So it can be very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it is. And I'm glad you brought up the religious aspect of it, because you see Sanskrit, and especially if it's written in the original script, and it looks a lot like Hindi or other, to the untrained Western eye. It looks very exotic, and Ayurveda as well to a certain extent. So Sanskrit, Ayurveda, yoga, there are religious elements to all of those. Often people's first experience of Sanskrit is chanting mantras, and some of those mantras, it's quite common for them to be chanting the names of Hindu gods and goddesses, for example. However, Ayurveda and yoga, if you read, Patanjali is very clear. There's the Sutra Ishvara Pranidhana Dwar, and that means that's when Patanjali is saying, look, if you have a belief in God, it can be useful. Like, that's great. You can use that. But the Dwar means that this is an optional thing. Like, if you decide that, I'm not taking the religion path, that, like, Patanjali and yoga is fine with that. And Ayurveda does not require any spiritual or religious connection. And the same with Sanskrit. So we can use Sanskrit mantras that are to do with health and healing and wisdom and knowledge and well-being, that are not in any way connected to a religious or even a spiritual framework.
So even in Yoga Sutra, just the word is Ishvara Pranidhan. What is Ishwar? Divine. What is divine? It's up to you. What is divine, really? I mean, what is
it's
divine?
Not defining, it could be God.
And that's what I mean. It is unique fingerprint of the divine. So we are unique fingerprint of divine. So what is divine to me may not be what is divine to you, So some people consider the nature is the God, and that's fine. And then others consider idols, and that's okay too. And that's what the yoga Ayurveda understanding of this is from Sankhya philosophy, right? And this is Sankhya philosophy is you can follow the gods and goddesses. We're not saying that don't do that. It's not about that. It's up to you what you want to follow. So whatever you will believe in, your belief will grow stronger, because you will understand whatever you believe in from deeper angle. Because I truly believe that these practices are designed in such a way that it can take us quite deep within ourselves to explore that, and also help our clients. And Adore Yoga, Nikola has designed amazing courses. Like, they're so beautifully structured. I always send her whenever I see, Nick, you outdone yourself this time. And every course is like that. So I can't, I can't put it in word how amazingly designed the course flows beautifully, and it's just wonderful experience. I think.
Well, thank you for that. And keep talking it up, because this time next week I'm actually going to be in conversation with a graduate from one of our courses, and she might not speak about the courses so glowingly. So,
so I should do it more then.
I just invite my teachers on to say what nice things about the course. That's not why we do it. I know that you but coming back to what you do, so you do teach for Adore, but you also run your own classes in Ayurveda and Ayurvedic food and Sanskrit. So what we're going to do is put a link. So when we finish this conversation, I'm going to put a link in the comments. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, how can I learn Sanskrit or Ayurveda with Sunita? There are a couple of ways that you can do that. You can join one of the courses at Adore Yoga. So if you go to adoreyoga.com, and you go into the teacher training section there, you'll see our current courses, and Sunita is a teacher on all of our courses. But we'll also put a link to a landing page of Sunita's, because she does other things as well. You've got a Sanskrit class coming up soonish?
Yeah, I have a Sanskrit workshop coming up soon, which will be it's on 8th. I will put the link. I think that's better if I shouldn't give. It's on 8th of August from 10 to 3. And it's at Northern Beaches, actually, at North Narrabeen. And I'll send you information about that also. It's 4 hours. It also includes lunch, which is prepared by lovely Tara. So it's really good experience, where I'll be talking about Sanskrit. It's an introduction to Sanskrit workshop. And there will be also, I will talk about, even if you're a yoga teacher or not yoga teacher, or if you're just curious about the language, come and join me. You can also do that via live Zoom. Option is also there if you want to do that.
So for someone who's not in the northern beaches, or for someone for whom maybe that social distancing, it's still not time for them to come out and mingle, then they can do that by Zoom. That's great. I will put the link in the comments. I wanted to ask if anybody had any questions. I've been checking to see if anyone is. I know Sylvie put a comment when I disappeared, when my internet went down. So yes, Sylvie, I did disappear, but I'm back now. So if anybody has a question about yoga, Ayurveda, or Sanskrit, you can post it now, and Sunita will answer you. Otherwise, you can contact us direct. You can send us a message through Facebook, or you can contact Adore Yoga at info@adoreyoga.com. Again, I'll put all these in the comments and the links, or you can contact Sunita direct on the links that we're going to paste. So, Sunita, thank you for coming and chatting this afternoon. This has been so nice. It's nicer to see you in person over a mock-up, but
thank you for inviting
I'll take
me.
this.
Thank you.
And I'm admiring your wood-fired stove in the background.
I know.
That looks
it's so good. I can't tell you. It just feels very nice.
Keeping you nice and toasty. All right. Look, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very, very grateful. And we'll have you back on. We'll definitely have you back on and have another chat in a few weeks' time, perhaps. I think people are really going to enjoy what you have to say.
All right. Thank you very much, Nikola. Right. Have a lovely day.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you again soon. Oh, this is going to be a regular Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock slot for about 6 weeks, and then we'll see how it goes. So join us.
Oh, exciting. I will keep tuned. Stay tuned. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.